So, I guess welcome back. Here we go again. What's on the agenda today? What are we looking at today?
Yeah, so this time around, I wanted to show Turvold in a 2-to-1 ratio unkillable team. So before this, it has always been 1-to-1, but this time I found that I was able to use him in a 2-to-1 team. And then the damage, I think this is probably the highest damage unkillable team right now.
Wow. So how? So I thought he couldn't go on a 2-for-1
Yeah,
because of his extra turn kind of mechanics.
I thought
What's
it wasn't possible as well, but actually the comp that this is based around is the comp that you presented. It's the Deacon Eater.
yes?
So I was able to, so I was like theory crafting, and I found out that by slotting Turvold into that team, since Michelle gives that increased speed, and Turvold also increases his own speed. So when he takes his extra turns and plays the increased speed on himself at the same time where Michelle would have also placed increased speed on him. So it just lines up perfectly.
Oh wow. Okay,
So I
cool.
was able to slot it in. So if anyone who wants to build this team, they can just find your video, click on your link that already populate all the speeds there, and just plug the Turvold in.
So Turvold just slots into one of the slots that was already in there at the same speed, right? Is that
The
what you're saying?
DPS slot, it's in the DPS slot, and
Yeah.
no, I think it's not the exact same speed. I just have to increase his speed by 1.
Okay. So let's look through your builds then. So let's start with big boy Turvold. As ever, going to do some crazy numbers, I'm sure. So he's in the retaliation set, so extra chances to counter attack. 6.6k attack, 76% crit rate, 242 crit damage with accuracy as well. Damn, that's actually insane. So some big numbers coming out here, I'm sure. Nice. So who else are we looking at?
Yeah, so it's the Deacon Eater then. Michelle, Deacon, and the 2 man-eaters.
One set cruel, one set perception. So you do build him with accuracy in his build.
Yeah, and that's what
Why do
I
you do
want
that?
to. Michelle actually benefits a lot from having accuracy because he's A3, which steals a buff. When he steals a buff or when the target doesn't have a buff, his damage increases by 50%. So I found that the damage actually increased by almost double.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and
I should change my build.
yeah, that's what I
I
wanted
don't
to
do
let.
that. I don't do that on
Yeah,
mine. Yeah.
that's what I wanted to let you know as well. And
Interesting.
because with the clan boss places increased attack on himself, right? So when Michelle steals it, then he gets the increased attack as well. So
Yeah,
he
sure.
is able to deal more damage.
Awesome. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So you've got a massive amount of attack, crit damage. Obviously, with an unkillable team, you just got to build your team to be smacking as hard as you can. So you've gone 87 crit rate. You don't get a crit rate buff anywhere, do you? Was that just you weren't able
Yes.
to crit cap?
No, I can. The thing is that because I one key on all affinity anyway, so I just wanted to like make my personal best. So I just made it 85% specifically for the force affinity, so that I can take
Oh, I see.
advantage of the 15% to
Makes
min-max
sense.
my build even more.
Yeah, no worries. So we then got Deacon in here. So this is similar to what I run, guys. So I run Deacon in my team. Deacon's like a good substitute if you don't have a Seeker to be able to pull off some of these crazy teams. So you've got Poison set, you've got Toxic set on your Deacon. Again, 89%.
Yep.
I see a theme now. You've got accuracy on your Deacon as well for
He
drop
places the
defense.
decreased defense, yeah.
Yeah. So this one is not in Toxic gear, which they were before. So you've just gone as high damage as possible here.
Yeah, since it's 271 speed, it's going to be really hard to have them in Toxic.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, actually, that was one of the things. It was a really fast build. Okay, so your only poison damage is coming from your Deacon. Other than that, you're straight up just going for hits. It's all about slamming.
Yep, exactly.
So for anyone looking for this, if you just Google, or not Google, if you go onto YouTube and just search Hell Hades Deacon, it will be like one of the top 2. There's one where I've just done a Deacon guide, and there's one where I do a Deacon with 4 different clan boss builds. And this is like an offshoot of one of those. Okay, should we dive in?
Actually, I found that Draco might actually not be like the best spot to put Draco in. Like other DPS champions will perform better than Draco. So you don't.
What's some examples of that?
So examples that I've tested is Brachus as well as Longbeard. So I shared the screenshots of the test I did in our Discord, so you can show them later on.
So you'd rather go for a straight damage champion than someone who's bringing poison. I guess with But I
Someone
guess
who
they both
brings,
bring weaken as well, don't they? Yeah.
yeah, yep, someone who brings weaken to take advantage of Deacon being able to place decreased defense.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, and I'll show this whilst we're running through this. So this is
Yes.
exactly the same setup that I use, is it?
Yeah, it's the same setup. So it's A2.
Okay, well, I
A3.
go through this several times a day in, day out. So
Yep, A3.
yeah.
Then Turvold A1.
So you do A1 on the Turvold, right?
Yep.
We got decreased defense down. We got a poison on already. Nice counterattack. A1, A3. Then we punch some A1s in. 130k from the Mashold. A1 Deacon. He doesn't do bad damage, really. 70k. And then what's with the Turvold? Are we still doing A1s on?
A3. A3 and
yeah.
Turvold. Yeah.
Okay. And then A2, A3. So we're stealing this increased attack.
Yep.
A2. And then on mine, I'm auto at this point.
Yep, auto as well. So it's the same, exact same setup.
Nice. That's good. That's one I can easily follow.
Yeah, and it's the same same team where it works on Brutal, Nightmare, Ultra Nightmare, and all affinities. So it's
Brilliant.
even simpler, and at the same setup for all of them.
Yeah. So you think this is the hardest hitting unkillable team that's out there right now?
I believe so. I mean, if anyone has seen or knows any higher, let me know, because as far as I've seen, I think this is the highest unkillable team.
Yeah.
Highest damage. What I like about this as well is that on Force Affinity, the clan boss targets Turvold, so there's an extra chance to counterattack during this time. So it's even more damage.
Yeah. So this is your best affinity. Obviously, you've got two positive champions. So Mashold's actually cracking as good as he can here. And did you play around with any other gear sets than what you're doing here? Was there anything which you kind of tested around?
The set that I have on Turvold, the Retaliation set, this is the set that I found was the best. At first, I tested him on with a Fury set that I normally do, but then I realized it's not working here because there's Leech, so Turvold will always have full health. So the Fury set doesn't work. Then I tried it in like a regular set, just pure damage. Then I found that even though Turvold has weaken on his A1, it's still like quite significant. I noticed a significant amount of time where he doesn't place his weaken. So I find out the way to compensate for that is to have him have higher chance to counterattack with his A1. So now with the retaliation set, downtime on weaken is much less noticeable.
And I guess I didn't check your masteries, but I guess you've got masteries here where you're doing more damage when you're at full health rather than the one where you're at below 50%.
Yep. I had to switch my masteries to get that.
Yeah, so here's one then. So we've got Brackus rocking up with 26 million of damage. Interestingly, your Mashold doing 30 million in this run.
Run Mashold is the star. His A3 deals like 400k damage.
That's mad, actually. So you bring the ally attack, you've got your weaken here. So he's doing 15 mil. Obviously, everyone else gets more chance to put hits in. So you get a bit more damage out of the others, but a bit less out of Longbeard. How was this Longbeard built? Was he pretty strongly built?
I mean, we can take a look at my Brackus later on, because I have my Brackus in the exact same gear that I did this test on, but both of them are in reflex gear, and they have about the same stats, which is about 5k attack and about 200%-ish crit damage. So they're not built as stacked as Turvold.
Because I know Longbeard can hit pretty hard, but it's not at the same sort of level.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of surprised as well. Longbeard didn't really did as much damage, but he brought everyone else's damage by a lot.
What are we in here? 18 turns in. We're already doing 2 million per turn. We're on an average of 2 million per turn.
Yep, and it's going to ramp up a bit more.
Yeah.
In your team, when you're using Draco, what's like the highest hit you're able to hit?
I don't really break 80 million with my team. I normally do about on Ultra Nightmare. I can hit about 80. Yeah,
it's the same. So when I was using Jintoro, I was also somewhere between the 70 and 80 million. I couldn't break 80 million. But with this, the other champs that I brought in, surprisingly, they're able to hit much higher than that.
Yeah. So there's the one key done on turn 30, just over 30. This is actually, it's hitting so much harder than my team. Do you use Turvold anywhere outside of Clan Boss?
I use him in the Heart Doom Tower bosses, but I just couldn't make him work there. I think
Yeah.
because I have him built for clan boss, which have like really unkillable clan boss, so I don't have any defense built in him, so he just dies every time.
Yeah, I mean, even on this comp, he is getting some big old hits in.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen 300 odd K double hits,
Mm,
quite a lot of 250Ks, but then
yeah.
Mashold's coming in with a lot of damage as well, actually. This is the sort of thing where I'm sure Deadwood's Jedi gets asked this all the time because he's kind of always doing these type of different speed tunes, but people literally look at their champions like, right, well, I've got a mixture. They're like, I've got this one, and this one. Can that work? And honestly, the answer, unless it's been done already, probably will. There's probably a way to do it. There probably is a way, but it is not easy to find these different speed setups.
Get asked if like Turvold here can have relentless set. So I've been working on it right now, but I still haven't been able to find the speed because it's having relentless is hard to kind of emulate on a calculator. So I have to like trial and error, but I
Yeah.
still haven't been able to find the right speed. Yeah, it feels like it should work, but in reality it doesn't. It's because he he will have to increase speed at like varying times. So it fluctuates his speeds a little bit every time to the point until eventually it just runs out.
Yeah.
The rotation gets ruined little by little until it eventually gets ruined. So it
I
might
guess he
seem
could
like
end
it,
up running out of his own speed
yeah,
buff or something, couldn't he?
yeah. So it seems like it might work like the first 10, 15 rounds, but at later on the rotation starts to get ruined.
It's actually incredible how much it ramps up. So I think I said probably about 18 or 19 turns ago, we're at about 2 million damage per turn, and now we're at what's that? At least 2.5. So we're nearing the end. 120. What's your best you've ever done with this team then?
Over a year
Ian?
now. Wow, keep up the good work, mate.
25 million.
125.
Yep.
Damn.
But
53 million Turvold. Look at that.
yeah, so I don't think I've seen any unkillable team that does more than 120 million. So that's why I think this might be the highest damage unkillable team.
Nice. So if I put that in the thumbnail, then if I do this as a video, thumbnail reads the highest damage unkillable team ever recorded. Do you think will I get flame for that?
I mean, I want to know if there is higher. So let the whoever who's done higher show themselves.
Yeah, sure. 10 million healing from Turvo. Look at that. What's funny is, like, if you just add their healing numbers together, that's better than what most people do for damage. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Thank you again. Awesome team. Let's check out.
Yeah, so this is the Brachus build that I have in that team, like triple refresh accessories.
Oh, yeah. Why triple refresh on him?
Because most of his damage actually comes from his Giant Slayer procs. His multipliers are actually not that high. That's why, like, even with the stats that I have, it's not like Turvold level stats.
Yeah.
His damage is still high because his multipliers itself is not that high. So having him get as much chance to use his multi-hit skills to get the Giant Slayer procs is what boosts his damage.
And then reflex to obviously get the abilities back, as well as triple refresh. Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Ian, thank you so much. Thanks for coming on and sharing that again. That's super cool, man. Really cool.
No problem. Hope everyone enjoyed it.